Hey everyone, and welcome back to GG Haven for another deck tech video. Today, we're slowing things down and focusing on the path of the master. If you prefer a deck that plays like a coiled spring, patiently controlling the board before unleashing a single unstoppable strike, then you've come to the right place. We're diving deep into a deck built around the master martial artist himself, Lee Sin. This isn't about flooding the board with a dozen small units. This is a control strategy. A go tall deck that aims to build one unit into a game-ending threat. We'll break down how to use Lee Sin and his followers to control the pace of the game, protect your key threats, and deliver the final decisive blow. We'll cover the core cards, sideboard options, and tips you need to achieve true mastery. Let's get started. At the heart of our strategy is our champion legend, Lee Sin Blind Monk. His ability is simple but essential. For one rune, you can tap him to buff a friendly unit. This is your engine. Every single turn, you have a reliable way to make one of your units stronger. This is how you start building up your main threat or make a smaller unit a more effective blocker in the early game. The timing for this activation is key. You can use it at any point during your main phase. Consider activating it in response to your own buff triggers, like with the gear card Mistfall, to ready a unit after buffing it, allowing for a surprise attack, a card we'll see later. Our main champion unit is Lee Sin Ascetic. He has shield, making him a naturally strong defender and an ability that lets you tap him to buff himself. Crucially, the card states, "I can have any number of buffs." This is our primary win condition. Unlike other units that can only have one buff counter, Lee Sin can stack them infinitely. Every turn he's on the board, he gets bigger. He starts as a respectable body and quickly grows into a threat that can end the game in a single combat. And now it's our key spell, Dragon's Rage. The card reads, move an enemy unit, then choose another enemy unit at its destination. They deal damage equal to their mights to each other. You can think of this card as reading kill two of your opponent's best units. It's our ultimate board control tool and lets you deal with your opponent's two biggest units without risking your own units in the process. Next, we'll move on to our battlefields. Our battlefields are carefully chosen to provide us with the necessary tools and card advantage to execute our control plan. The first card we have is Grove of the God Willow. When you hold here, draw one. A control deck needs cards, and this battlefield provides a steady stream of them. Targon's Peak. When you conquer here, ready 2 runes at the end of this turn. This is a huge resource boost that allows us to hold up runes for our powerful reaction spells like Windwall or Defy, cards we'll get to later. Last, Monastery of Harana. When you conquer here, you may spend a buff to draw one. This synergizes perfectly with our strategy, turning our excess buffs into more cards to fuel our game plan. Now, let's look at the supporting cast. Let's start with our champion unions. First up, we have Caitlyn Patrolling. This is a fantastic removal piece. She has to be assigned combat damage last, making her a tricky blocker, and you can tap her to deal damage equal to her might to another unit at a battlefield as long as she's at a battlefield. Sona Harmonious is a resource powerhouse, writing up to 4 of your friendly runes at the end of your turn as long as she's at a battlefield. This is crucial to making sure you can play your counter spells during your opponent's turn. Finally, Kiana Victorious is a resilient threat with deflect. She generates value by letting you draw a card or channel a rune whenever she conquers. Now let's take a look at our non-champion units. Pit Rookie is a great early game play that buffs another friendly unit. Next, we have Wielder of Water. Gets +2 might while attacking or defending alone, making it a great solo fighter for holding a battlefield early. Solari Shieldbearer provides an excellent tempo by stunning a unit when it enters play. This can be used to tap down a key blocker for an attack or neutralize a major threat for a turn. Wizened Elder gets an additional +1 might while buffed, making him an incredibly efficient target for your buffs. A 4 cost unit that becomes a 6 might threat with a single buff is a fantastic value. Next, we have Playful Phantom. It's a straightforward powerhouse. It has no abilities, but it boasts a solid 5 might for its 5 cost. This is what we call a vanilla unit. It's just a big, efficient body that's great for fighting. It's simple to use and effective at controlling the board through sheer force. Here's a tip. Its high cost makes it perfect target for our spell Reinforce, a card we'll get to later, which can put it into play for a massive discount. Cheating a 5 might body into playing early creates a huge tempo advantage that can win you the game on its own. And lastly, we have Mage Seeker Warden. It's a crucial lockdown piece. While he's at a battlefield, opponents can only play units to their base, and their spells and abilities can't ready enemy units and gears. Our spells and gears are what give the deck its control identity. Our one and only key gear is Mistfall. When you buff a friendly unit, you may pay a body rune and exhaust this to ready it. The synergy here is incredible. You can attack with a unit like Lee Sin, then in your second main phase, use your legend to buff him, pay the cost for Mistfall, and ready him to be a blocker. It provides unbelievable flexibility. Now, we'll move on to our spells. Our spells are all about interaction. Defy and Windwall are our counter spells. Defy is for cheaper spells, while Windwall is for unconditional no spells. Hold up resources for these to protect your big threat from being removed. Unguard is a combat trick that gives a +1 might or +2 might if it's your only unit there. Perfect for helping your lone Lee Sin win a crucial fight. Block is a hidden spell that gives a unit massive shield 3 and tank for the turn. You can hide this early and spring it onto your opponent to completely blow out their combat phase. And finally, we have Reinforce. This lets you look at the top 5 cards of your deck and play a unit from among them with a huge cost reduction. This is a great way to cheat a big unit like Playful Phantom into play early. Now that we talked about the main deck, let's talk about our sideboard. First up, we have Unyielding Spirit. Prevents all spell and ability damage for 1 turn. Bringing this in against decks that rely on damage-based spells to clear board is crucial. Next, we have Charm. It's a simple spell that lets you move a unit. It's incredibly versatile for moving a key blocker out of the way or pulling a threatening unit away from a battlefield it's protecting. Catalyst of Aeons lets you channel 2 runes. If you're against another slow control deck, this early ramp can give you the resource advantage needed to win in the late game. And finally, we have our champion unit, Ari Alluring. It's an alternate win condition. Her ability lets you score a point for just holding her battlefield. In matchups where winning through combat is difficult, she can provide a passive way to victory. So, to bring it all together, here are some final tips for mastering this Lee Sin deck. First, your life total is a resource. Don't be afraid to take some damage in the early turns. Your goal is to survive and set up your late game, not win a race. Second, always protect your main threat. Know which removal spells your opponent might have and be ready to answer with a counter spell. It's often better to wait 1 more turn to play your big Lee Sin if it means you can also hold up mana for Windwall or Defy. And finally, be patient. This deck can feel like it's doing nothing for the first few turns, but that's the plan. Lure your opponent into a false sense of security before you drop a unit they simply have no answer for. That is the path to victory with Lee Sin, a challenging but incredibly rewarding deck to master. What are your thoughts on this control style build? Let me know in the comments. And as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell to stay updated. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.